the Switch 2 doomed to fail?
Oh!
Yes. If we listen to all the commentators on the internet, the Switch 2 is a massive failure. Did you watch the Treehouse live?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you see the live chat?
Yes.
I watched it for about 2 hours live, and then I dipped out.
Yeah.
And literally, there's probably about 100,000 people concurrently watching at only one point. And I think all of them were putting drop the price.
That's all that was there, yeah.
That's all the chat was.
I
Just
turned
constantly drop
chat
the price,
off.
drop the price, drop the price.
Yeah, I turned it off.
All right, I wanted to deep dive this. Obviously, we're going to be covering a lot of the Switch 2. We've got hands-on coverage coming soon. Loads and loads to cover. Very exciting. But I wanted to do some initial reaction to what we saw from the Direct, what we now know, and also to kind of address the huge amount of blowback that we and moreover Nintendo are getting about the Switch 2 and how it's a massive failure, how they've somehow not read the room or something. Today's super awesome video sponsor is MOBAPAD. Long-time viewers will know that MOBAPAD is our absolute favourite brand for Switch controllers and Joy-Cons, so it's genuinely a real joy to promote them. Seriously, their Joy-Con alternatives are a genuine game changer. No more drifting, no more hand cramps, just awesomely spec'd, great-looking Joy-Cons. And the Pro controllers are just as epic too. They're packed with features and feel amazing in your hands, all at a really competitive price. So if you're looking for a Joy-Con alternative or a new Pro controller, check out MOBAPAD on the link below.
And you didn't read the room, did you? Because AJ made a video, and a really good reactions video.
Thanks very much. Yeah.
Directly after the Direct, the AJ Direct, AJ's Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Which happens to be probably our most disliked video since the Steam Deck.
I am genuinely shocked.
I was shocked.
Okay, so my reaction was I watched the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
About the Switch 2. I was blown away, and we're going to go through some of the things about why we're really excited for it, and maybe what the cons are as well in this video. But my initial thing was I watched that, I was literally blown away. There was moments where I was like, I can't believe everything that they've put into this.
Absolutely.
And everything that's available. I need to share that excitement.
Precisely,
which is kind of what we do here. We share our opinions on gaming. And so I shared that excitement. And I just thought everyone is going to be so hyped for this because there's so much pent-up demand. All the commentary before is Nintendo are so far behind, they need to catch up. They just make kids' games. They need to have proper games on there.
8 years outdated.
All of those things. And they've addressed all of that and more.
Yes.
Everyone's going to be hyped.
Yeah.
And all I saw in reaction was people being super negative about mainly the price.
Yeah.
And how somehow it's lacking compared to what they expected.
Yeah.
So I had to then go around and check myself, as in like, I need to go and watch everyone else's videos that was either live or that reacted to it.
To see what they
the people that I respect from like Digital Foundry, Spawn Wave, Wolf Den, like some really seasoned creators and commentators that I deeply respect for different reasons in their field.
Yeah.
And also some people that like just deal in hyperbole, like RGT, who's always like super critical of things and just rants about stuff.
Yeah.
And every single one of them, to a T, without fail,
had our reaction.
Had the same reaction as me and as you.
Yeah.
Of like just overwhelming positivity for what Nintendo have done. And I guess maybe we have to take a step back and go, let's ignore the price for just a second.
Yes.
And go, let's just look at it objectively. What have they objectively done?
Yeah.
And it is absolutely mind-blowing.
It's far more than we ever anticipated.
We had like wish lists. We did videos on like what we wanted it to be. And there's stuff that we didn't even imagine that they would do in there.
We thought we were going over the top with some of the stuff we previously put on our wish list that we never in a million years thought they would include.
Yeah.
One point being that we thought that we would settle with games just being able to be 1080p, 60 FPS, docked.
So I'll be fine with that. It's a Nintendo, you know.
It's a Nintendo Switch.
We're not looking at a PS5 Pro.
It's going to be almost at a max push twice as powerful as the original.
Yeah.
And we were going to be happy with that.
Yeah.
And then what Nintendo did was just come out guns blazing in every aspect.
Yes.
There was not one thing that I saw that didn't make me mind blown.
Mind blown that we're looking at a Nintendo device that shot the starting pistol for the next generation of console gaming.
Yeah. And
that's what they've done.
This is a Nintendo device. Like, this isn't Asus ROG.
No.
Like, we're not spending £1,000 on a handheld PC here.
No.
This is little Billy's next console.
And that's the point. We're getting like PC handheld levels of performance,
Or better.
or better in some in some cases, that's fully dockable
Yeah.
without any eGPU or FAF,
Or cost of a dock.
that's available in Target, in Best Buy, in Asda, in Argos,
Tesco, Amazon, any
from
retailer.
a company that their last generation sold 150 million units.
Yeah.
And we're seeing pushback, I think, from the PC handheld market, which we deeply love.
Oh, yeah.
But
of
let's
course
be
we
honest,
do.
this is different thing. Different
It's
stratospheres.
different.
The entire PC handheld market is only 6 million units in its entirety.
Over the past 3 years.
We're talking about the Switch that
Yeah.
sold 150 million.
Yeah.
It's not even on the same page.
It's not the same ballgame.
But yet they've managed to step in with comparable performance and features that a lot of them don't have.
Well, Nintendo have just done a GameCube. It's the first time they've released a AAA console since 2002.
It's a really good way of putting it. They've stepped back in to going toe-to-toe with PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I want to, before I go into some of the specs, the pros, the cons, I need to address one biggest thing which I've seen the most common. It's the misinformation that's being spread about pricing.
Days. Not just pricing, all of it.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things I see on Twitter, like on a daily basis of just countless stuff. It's like they literally said this in the direct and you're saying you're spewing nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like go rewatch it before you start having an opinion.
The biggest one I've seen, and I see it so much on the comments on the video I did, was $90 games, no thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, what?
Can you please tell me what game is $90? Because
Where
I've
did
looked.
that come from?
Because none of the games are 90.
No.
The games are expensive.
Yeah.
And we do have to acknowledge that. In the cons part, we will. But I need to address right from the start the misinformation there. None of the games are $90. From what I can tell, that bit of information came from someone saw on the German Nintendo store in Germany that Mario Kart World was €90, including sales tax for you Americans.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's £75,
Including tax.
Mm-hmm. So it's a comparable price.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, taxes are different in different countries, so there's going to be variance there.
Mm-hmm.
In the US, it's an $80 game, $79.99, excluding tax.
Yeah.
Not $90 excluding tax.
Mm-hmm. Bear in mind that if you do the conversion, we still pay more.
We still pay more, yeah. So it's a £75 game, which puts it almost exactly in line with PS5 and Xbox prices.
Pretty much, yeah.
We're seeing games for £69.99, £70.
£70. It's been 70 since PS5 started, isn't it?
And what's different with, or almost, I was going to say what's different, but no, actually, Nintendo have continued something they started with right at the end of the Switch generation, where they had variable pricing on some games.
I was just about to say that.
Zelda was
full price.
Was it £70 or £60?
Yeah, 70.
£70. So we're seeing a £5 increase in games.
Mm-hmm.
£5, and that's what everyone's getting bent out of shape
and that's
about.
not a blanket. Not every single game.
No,
this is going to be like the flagship titles,
because Donkey Kong Bonanza is £10 less, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a variable pricing depending on the game. Mario Kart World is an open world MMO Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Mario Kart, the most successful game in the Switch, which sold 64 million units, I think it was.
Yeah.
Which is insanity.
Absolutely.
If I looked at my Switch playtime, and I'm sure it's the same for most people that had the original Switch, if you looked at your playtime, the most played game, I bet over their life Mario Kart was it.
Yeah, and Nintendo know this. They know that all the parents out there, if they're buying little Billy a console for his birthday, Christmas, whatever, Easter, whatever he's doing, he's going to want Mario Kart. Like, everyone knows Mario Kart, so why not put the price up? And you've got to bear in mind, this is, like you said, basically an MMO Mario Kart now. The cost of that, they've got to run the servers and everything else.
It's a huge development.
And obviously they want to milk it.
They're going to extract the most out of it.
Absolutely.
Of course these games are, but these games are in relative terms, not as expensive as they used to be.
Yeah.
I was going to say that towards the end, but we're here now anyway, so I might as well say it. Mario, I had to do like some deep diving. Because we've said for a while that games are technically underpriced now compared to what they used to be for a long time.
Yeah.
You talk about a floppy disk version of Doom that you have.
Got Doom 2 on floppy in the big box.
Yeah.
Big cardboard box.
Yeah.
that's going to just deteriorate one day.
Yeah.
I've still got the receipt from 1995, WH Smith's, or it might be Woolworths, which is no longer. But anyway, £50
in 1995. So 30 years ago.
30 years ago, yeah.
£50 was the price. Mario Kart 64, released obviously on the N64, 1996. Its MSRP in the UK was £60.
Yeah.
Which in today's money is 118.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge games are expensive.
Yeah.
The economy's tough out there for everyone.
Yes.
But just don't buy every game. Just buy the games you want to. If you don't want to play Mario Kart and it's too expensive for you,
don't buy it.
Don't buy it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Just don't buy it. We have options not to do it. Don't get upset that it's £75 when that is kind of the standard of pricing.
And you know what
games now.
They're doing as well is they're wanting you to buy the bundle.
Yes.
So buy the bundle with the Switch 2 and pay £35. It's a 50% discount.
Yeah, it's insane.
Why would you not do that?
The console, the baseline console was $395. We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Just because you said the bundle.
Yeah.
Bundle version was $430, was it?
$430, yeah. £35 for the game.
I put that pricing out on our comments section, the community tab on YouTube, and people have told me it's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
The screenshot I shared on there, by the way, if you're on the community tab, is from the Nintendo website.
And we've bought 3 of them at that price.
Because Andy's a scalper.
No, I've got one for me, one for my wife, and you've bought one.
I've bought one as well.
So there's 3 of us that got the bundle at that price.
At £408.
Yes.
I did have to pay for delivery separately.
Oh, God, that's true. I had to pay delivery, and it was $3.99.
But anyway, I wanted to address the misinformation, firstly, that's been the biggest criticism that I've seen of the Switch. 2 is that games are $90. Games are not $90. I don't know where that's come from. Maybe they're $90 if you're including tax, but I don't know how your tax works in the state of America you're in. But they're not $90.
No.
It's come out of nowhere, and it's just not true.
And all the games are going to change depending on the game. It really depends on the game and that third-party game.
The next criticism I saw before we get into the pros was people don't like the fact that the digital version is cheaper than the physical version because it suggests that they're encouraging you to buy the digital version.
People didn't like that.
People don't like that because
that's news to me.
Yeah, no, well, that's the pushback I saw because people saying that it's an affront to like ownership rights in the future and they can switch the game off whenever they like and all the rest of it.
Okay.
We've talked about this so much with physical and digital. I'm a massive physical collector, as you can see. I love physical games.
As am I, yep.
But the future is digital. PC gaming has showed us that for the past 15 years. The future is digital. It's just how it is, and we just have to accept it.
Yep.
These games that I have behind me, I would imagine in the next 10 years will become unplayable entirely, even if they're not linked to the internet.
Rot.
Because the discs will rot. Cartridges will rot. Batteries will corrode. Batteries will leak and all the rest of it. And then when you're looking at like micro SD technology, that will corrode. It only has a certain amount of read and writes in which it's able to do before it becomes corrupted. In fact, all of the modern games that are released require some kind of downloadable content additionally to what's on the card. If not all. So if the server gets switched off, the game gets switched off. A lot of the games require you to, for security reasons, to talk about like PS5, are constantly loading up and reading over to the servers to make sure the security's right. So basically what I'm saying is physical ownership is a myth if you think it means that you have the game for the rest of time. It's a myth.
That ended with like PS3.
Yes.
You know, from like PS4 era onward, where games were actively needing day one patches to even be able to play them, that was when physical died. Yeah. It's not now.
Yeah.
Now it's already dead.
And romantically, I'm with you. I love the idea of having a shelf of all my Switch 2 games. Yes. It's beautiful, and I love looking at it, being able to pick it out. And I also love the idea of being able to take it off and sell it. And that's cool. But I actually know, for me personally, I never do that.
No.
As you can see, I'm a bit of a hoarder.
Same. All my Switch games are all over the wall and stuff.
I never sell them.
No, me either. They're all over the place.
The criticism that a lot of the Switch 2 games aren't actually on the cart, again, is a bit of misinformation.
Yeah,
a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Things like Cyberpunk is entirely on the cart.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, 64 gig cart.
Some of them aren't. The ones that aren't, Nintendo have done something I think is incredibly simple but a great move. the cart is your license key.
Yeah.
So rather than it being a code inside an empty box,
Yes.
you still get a cart just with tiny, tiny capacity.
Mm-hmm.
You put it in and it's got your license key. You then download the game. You only need internet access that one time to download the game. Or if there's any updates that you choose to do.
Yeah.
It then reads the license off the cart. The cart has to be in the Switch to play the game.
Yeah, just like any other physical.
Any other physical. What it does mean is that game is not tied to your account.
Mm-hmm.
So if you uninstall the game and take the cart out,
You can sell it.
you can sell it.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a simple move
Yeah.
and absolutely addresses some of the kind of concerns that people have about digital ownership.
Yeah.
And the problems there.
Yeah. See, for me, I've got a massive case of Switch games.
Yeah.
And it is so frustrating trying to find the right card.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my wife goes, I want to play this game, I literally am sat there for minutes
Flicking through.
and then I miss it because half of them are covered by the little grips, and I'm like, oh man, I hate it.
Yeah.
I actually hate having to. Same with if you're like on the sofa and you're really tired or whatever, and you're just monging out and you're chill, and it's like, can you get up and change your game? It's like, oh really? Like that is like modern
it's first world problems, isn't it?
First world problems 101. But it's a legit problem.
Yeah.
And so I've said to myself, I'm going all digital this time.
Wow.
I'm done with physicals. That's it. Done.
Wow.
Switch 2 is all digital for me.
Do you know, probably me as well. Purely because it's cheaper and it's more convenient.
That's the thing.
So I'm actually getting a benefit from it.
Like, it's always been so backwards for me that physical's been cheaper than digital.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it absolutely is some weird parallel universe thing that everyone's accepted.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So for there to be backlash over the fact that digitals are cheaper, what? I can't compute this. Yes, digitals should be cheaper. You're not paying for the manufacturing, stamp, like a game cart, the distribution, the put up in bricks and mortar store, the delivery costs, whatever. It's just held on a frickin' server that you download. Like, that should be cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I don't understand. But anyway, yeah, I'm going that route this time.
Yeah, I think I'll probably join you. I know on my Xbox journey, I've gone all digital entirely. I've not bought a single physical Xbox game, even though I've got the Series X, so I could.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I've really enjoyed embracing it.
Yeah.
Just relaxing and going, do you know what? This is cool. This
That's
is
what I love
how it
about
is.
PC gaming. You know, with the Ally X, all my stuff's downloaded, 2 terabyte hard drive, sweet.
You
all
want to
on
find the
PC.
game, you just scroll through and go, there it is, massive tile. Click on that one.
And the same with PC, like tower gaming, you know, on a laptop or whatever. Same thing. All your games are there.
Yeah, it's
brilliant.
If you can learn to embrace it, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes,
I will acknowledge that some of you it makes you nervous and you want to hold on to the idea of ownership. I just will say,
it's not there anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore. Sadly, it's a myth. It's gone.
That ended in like 2013.
Since the internet became integrated into our consoles, it went.
Yes,
it just is how it is. Okay, so let's go through the pros and the cons as we see it with the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then talk about some of the games that are coming. And
did we just do the cons?
I'll stay on the cons. There's more. There's more.
Okay, stay on the cons. Let's just go
all negative.
Yeah.
All right, okay,
let's
cool.
ride the hate, and then we'll get on the
first
good
one. And this one, I can absolutely go. I can see why people would be disappointed. And I said it in my reaction to the news. It's the only thread that I can pick at. Really, is it's not OLED.
Well, yes.
And people are used to the Switch OLED and how good that was.
I've seen 1,000 comments and tweets and whatever going, if it's not OLED, I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it. Pass is not OLED. And do you know what? Fair in some respects.
Since there's a Switch OLED, I understand that remark. Because to someone that's got an OLED in their hands right now, to think that they're going to have to downsample, and unfortunately they've only got the original Switch as a reference here.
The LCD Switch.
The LCD one, which is absolute terrible. Mm-hmm. Like, that screen is bad.
Yeah, it's dog.
Yeah. So, the thought of that, I can understand why they might have some trepidation there as to like going backwards. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
No, I'm going to get onto the actual specs of the screen later. But just staying on the kind of negative part, the other thing that people are holding on to with that is they've got the memory of the LCD and the change it was to OLED. There's also the potential frustration that people are worried about is that they're going to release an OLED version in a couple of years.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And they're just going to wait for that.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest, and unless there's some kind of quantum leap in how OLED panels work or how APUs work, like with machine learning, I don't think there will be an OLED for the Switch 2.
I don't think there'll A, be a need
No.
because of what they've done currently, but B, because of the limitations of OLED VRR panels on weak hardware.
Yeah.
So with weak APUs.
I think if it was possible, I think Asus would have already done it with the ROG.
Absolutely.
I think we'd have seen an OLED there when
The
they did the Ally
second it
X.
becomes valid, we will see Asus lead the charge with something like that.
We've talked about this a lot in different videos. If you've missed those or you've forgotten or just don't understand what we're talking about, in real basic terms, VRR and OLED don't play nice with each other.
With low performing frames, basically, yeah.
So the hardware that's available on handhelds, VRR's not a thing that's going to do you favors.
No, you get flickering in the dark areas.
Yeah.
But it's not consistent across the whole screen. So if you're looking at something like a car and there's the sunlight in front of you that's shining on the other side, the bit that will be in the shadows will be pulsing like so much so that you can't not look at it, right? And it is very distracting. We've done videos on this. There's videos online about it in
there's
detail.
Some really deep dives.
Artings is the best video where they deep dive into it.
Artings.
Yeah.
I always forget that.
I don't know how you say it. RT-ings, or I just call it Artings. I don't know. Ratings. I don't know.
There would be a lot more criticism if they released an OLED with VRR and it flickered.
If Nintendo, let's just rewind and saw the event, the Direct, and then they showed hands-on in that event and the screen is flickering. Can you imagine? All this backlash, I would understand.
Yeah.
I would understand then. I'd be like, fair.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that's not what happened here.
Other cons, it goes... See, here's the thing. The majority of the cons that I butt up against are price-based.
Yeah, okay.
It's all pricing. This paid upgrades for the Switch 2 editions, that's the things that I'm seeing people complaining about a lot.
Okay.
The most level criticism I've seen for that is that Nintendo players are not expecting to pay for improved graphics and performance. And I was thinking about this. I was like, firstly, it's a very spoiled position to put yourself in, to assume that you wouldn't have to pay for the extra development.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's also very short-term memory because Nintendo have absolutely done this in the past.
Yes.
They've absolutely done this. They've released different editions on different consoles.
Yeah.
And before you couldn't upgrade your Wii U version to a Switch version because it was a different hardware entirely.
Yeah.
You couldn't get the Switch version for your Wii U game. You'd have to buy the game separately.
Yeah, but I bet people did that.
Mario Kart.
Yes.
Different. Yes, there was some added content. I'll acknowledge that. Zelda.
Yeah.
That was a dual release. Yes.
Yeah.
But maybe you had the Wii U and you bought the Wii U version and then a year later you bought a Switch.
Yes.
But you want to carry on playing Zelda.
Yeah. You bought the Zelda.
You bought the Zelda version.
Yeah.
And you couldn't stick your Wii U version in it.
No, absolutely not. People totally did that. Like, absolutely did that.
Yeah.
And they're paying full price for it. Whereas this time you're going to pay what? Like a marginal increase?
Marginal
increase,
yeah. Or you become a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber if you're not already.
But the other thing
it's included.
Yeah. I saw people like comparing it to when the PS5 dropped. It's like, what? Like, PS5 charge you for upgrades.
The
like,
PS5 version of the game.
Yeah. Look at, what's it called? Horizon Zero Dawn.
Last of Us.
Remastered Last of Us. Like, there is paid upgrades there.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't understand the point. Like, there's going to be various upgrades here, and you've just touched on it. A free with Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack.
It's free with Switch Online. There's some games where a Switch 2 upgrade is just free as well. Some games.
Yes.
A lot of games are just backwards compatible if you don't want the upgraded version. So just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Your original cart is still going to work.
Yes.
Or download.
Yes.
I imagine you can go into the eShop and just download the Switch version.
Yeah.
It's not going to force you to buy the Switch 2 version. You'll be able to run the Switch 1 version.
I think a lot of that reaction to that was people maybe didn't watch the direct and are just reacting to the news that's coming out from it.
Maybe, yeah.
And it's what I've seen post direct from the news is it's not communicated very well about backwards compatibility.
Yes.
And that it sounds like you have to have
people
the Switch
thinking,
2 edition.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so they're being forced to pay to
yeah,
play
I want to
it.
carry on playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Right.
But I don't want to have to buy the Switch 2 edition.
I understand that take, but that's not the case.
It's not the case. No.
It's not real.
No. If you want to carry on playing your Switch version, it will be majority of games are backwardsly compatible.
Yeah.
We will be playing the Switch version, so it will still look like the Switch. Just how it is.
Yeah.
You won't get any of the upgraded performance.
Yeah, and like you said, there's 3 versions. Minor performance gain. Then there's going to be like a big performance overhaul, like graphics overhaul.
Yeah.
And then there's all of that and additional story content.
Yeah.
So it will be free, paid, or like paid or free with the Switch Online.
Yes, and that's it. Most people that are getting a Switch 2 at launch, are going to be Switch Online members because that's one of the requirements for pre-order from Nintendo.
Yeah.
So you'll just be getting the Switch 2 edition for free. Included in your subscription.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I want, obviously, as you're watching this podcast, in the comments, don't use the thumbs down to give me your opinion. That's not helpful. Use the comments section, because then I know what you're coming from. If you just thumbs down the video, all it does is I just see a thumbs down. And it's like, well, I don't know what you were upset about.
Do you not like the video? Do you not like the content?
Do you disagree with Nintendo? Do you disagree with me? Tell me what it is, rather than just using the thumbs down button.
Yes.
It's way more helpful.
Yes.
And it also is helpful for YouTube.
Indeed, yeah.
Right. That's the cons as far as I can see them. I want to know if there's stuff I've missed in the comments. Let me know.
Yeah.
There's a con for you, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else that's negative.
I can't think of anything negative. Like, I really can't.
Because, as we'll go on to, the hardware and then the games, the pros, are so huge.
I still can't believe it. That I can't understand that Nintendo have just come out swinging.
Absolutely.
Like, they've completely overshot any expectation I had.
Yeah.
My expectation was like here, you know.
Do you remember about 18 months ago, when maybe 2 years ago, when Switch 2 rumours start kind of really bubbling up, maybe 18 months or so, we heard a rumour that in a back room behind like CES or something.
Yeah, it was Gamescom or something like that. Yeah,
certain developers had seen Zelda running 4K 60.
Yes. Yeah, we heard that. Yeah.
And we thought everyone thought it was
like,
nonsense.
What a load of rubbish. That must be on like a PC or something.
Yeah, there's no chance they've got, I don't know if it was Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, whatever it was.
It was Breath of the Wild.
There's no chance they got Breath of the Wild running 4K 60.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
What a load of rubbish.
Nintendo. And sure enough, it pans out to be absolutely true. This device docked can run games 4K 60.
I can't believe it.
Or if you're willing to go down to a lower resolution, you can go up to 120 FPS. So you can have 1440 at 120 FPS.
Or 1440, yeah.
So 1080 for if you've got a 1080 monitor. But if you've got a smaller 4K monitor or TV, 100% just put it in 1440 at 120 FPS.
Yes.
Okay.
It's insane. This is Nintendo.
And if this was like the GameCube, let's say, if it was just a home console without a handheld part, I'd go, they're cooked. That's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah. So I get
incredible.
I get some of the greatest Nintendo IPs running at absolutely the best we could ever imagine them to be. The side-by-sides with Zelda,
oh my days,
between the Switch version and the Switch 2 version, it's not just a generation leap. It's insane. Well, actually, to be fair, it's the first console generation leap in a long time I've seen that's been like a wow.
And I truly think that Nintendo went from Nintendo Switch to Nintendo Switch 3.
Yes.
The Switch 2 ain't here.
Yeah.
That was 5 years ago, and that got superseded by this. Like the leap in technology here is insane.
Yeah.
Like you said, that moment in the treehouse, like live, where they brought up Breath of the Wild, where Link's in the bloody place where the Master Sword is.
Yeah.
Can't think of the forest. It's cool. But, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's in there, and you see the Switch 1 on the right-hand side. It's like 15 FPS, all the trees and the lighting and the grass is flickering.
Flickering, strobing,
and
popping
it
out.
is so bad.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like the graphics card is dead.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And that ethereal, almost cell shade feel that
Yes.
game has.
Yeah.
On the Switch version, just all kind of blurs into a kind of yellow.
Yeah.
It's all just kind of a
Oh.
bit bright and weird.
Horrible. And
Switch 2 version.
it looks like you're running it on a 5090. It
Yes.
literally does look
Yeah.
like you're emulating it
Yeah.
to like maximum potential, because I couldn't believe it. My wife like straight away was like, what? You know, she was like, look at the frame rate. And I was like, I couldn't peel my eyes off it. I was trying to have one eye on both and I was just having like a seizure, like, because I just couldn't understand, like, this is not running on a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be. Like, it is absolutely phenomenal. And like the Switch 1 can't even hit 1080p docked
Yeah.
a lot of the time. You know, Digital Foundry have pulled games apart and be like 900p,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff, and it's still struggling. And then this to be like 4K 60, lads. It's like, what?
Insane.
Sorry, what?
The whole way through the Direct, when they were showing the game, the
Just
footage from
everything.
different games,
Every game.
every time I was like, what? And the thing to bear in mind, none of that is cloak and dagger or smoke and mirrors from Nintendo. They are very insistent that everything shown is from the device in that state. So if you're seeing a full screen gameplay, that's it docked.
yeah.
If you're seeing it handheld, even if it looks like it's handheld rendered,
Yeah.
the gameplay footage is the handheld gameplay footage. being shown.
Yeah.
They are really strict
Yeah,
on
they're
that.
not faking it. Like,
No.
it is what it is.
And Digital Foundry then pulled apart the full screen renders that were in the Direct, and are like pixel counting it and frame rate counting it, and are like confirming this is what we're seeing here. Yeah, you're getting certain third party games. Yes, you're getting upscaled versions of it, but yes, it's running at like consistent 40 FPS in Cyberpunk on a Nintendo Switch.
yeah. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
So docked is an absolute thing of marvel. You were talking this morning, you blew my mind a little bit about something I just hadn't considered about the dock. And of course, this is handheld. It's a VRR monitor.
Yeah.
It's built in. The dock will also be a VRR output if your TV is compliant with it.
Yeah. I can't remember where I've read it, but I'm pretty sure that's what will be the case. So even though the Switch will be locked at 4K 60 max,
Yeah.
I think it's still got an HDMI 2.1 port. Might be wrong, but if so, that's then VRR onto your TV. So whether you've got a TV or a PC monitor and you're docking it into it, you're still going to get VRR.
If that's the case, it's just huge, isn't it?
It's just ridiculous.
I love the fact that the dock is just way more than just a glorified USB-C port now.
Yeah, it's actually got an active fan. in
Active
it.
cooling is
Yes,
huge.
yeah.
It clearly means that the Switch 2 goes like proper overclocked when it's plugged into
Oh
it. and
yeah,
you're getting
yeah.
that.
Those clock speeds are going to be ramping up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just can't believe that we're going to get that. But the choice of fidelity or performance
In a Nintendo?
from Nintendo, I never thought we'd see that.
No.
I
No way.
never ever thought we'd see that. The first time they showed it was when they brought up Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
And it went 4K 60, and then it said handheld 1080p 60.
Yeah.
It's like the Nintendo Switch 1 wouldn't even be able to do that docked, you know?
No.
So I was like, handheld, and then it brought up the next bit, and it said, or 1080p 120, and that's docked, or 1440,
Yeah.
I imagine. And then it said 720p 120 FPS, handheld. It's like, what? So you've got these performance modes per game.
Which for Nintendo's, it just,
Yeah.
to me, it just shows me that they've quietly shifted themselves right into the center of the gaming conversation
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
From being on the fringes and being a slightly whimsical Nintendo just do their own thing
Yes.
to like slap bang right in the middle of it.
Yep.
No, we're taking back the console space.
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
ours.
Yeah.
We sell more than everyone else.
Yep.
And we were the leader
Yeah.
in like the home like performance consoles.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
coming back there.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
wanna
They've
be there.
entered the chat again, haven't they? They've
100%.
Because like you said before, they were just kind of this aloof, like random
Yeah.
like thing that was over the side.
Oh, look at Wii Sports.
Yeah. And it
all
was Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo just running around the outside.
Yeah.
And now they've just gone, move over. Like,
Yeah, we want a part of it now.
yeah.
We're going to take both bits.
They've caught up with the times. I think. I feel like they've opened the door a bit and let like modern stuff in.
Yeah.
Like just seeing everything that they've been showing is insane.
Handheld mode is the bit where it really starts melting my brain, because not only have you got an incredibly capable home console there that sits, and I will say it will sit in line with your Xbox and your PlayStation quite comfortably.
Yeah.
Especially for little Billy and most people that aren't like specs digging.
Yes.
But then you can take your Cyberpunk, your Hogwarts Legacy, your Star Wars Outlaws,
your Elden Ring,
or your Mario Kart World. Just think about that as a combination on your console.
Yeah.
You can pull it out of the dock.
Yep.
No ejecting.
Yeah.
Just pull it out.
Yeah, and it works.
And now you're playing it on a 120 hertz VRR monitor with HDR.
HDR. What?
So up
7.9 inch.
7.9 inch up to 120 FPS. Handheld. That monitor is it's what you expect on the Asus devices.
Is a better monitor than any screen we've seen on any handheld that's currently available.
It's what I would expect to see on the top end PC handhelds that are coming out this year.
It's got G-Sync. Would you ever expect Nintendo to have built-in G-Sync display?
To those that don't know, why is that such a big deal, Andy? Why is it such a big deal?
Because that is NVIDIA's VRR protocol. You know, back in the day when G-Sync was actually really good because it had a specific hardware module inside. They used to sell them independently, so you could make any screen G-Sync. Don't do it anymore, but they used to, and that, well, if you don't know what VRR is, it aligns the output of frames from your GPU to the refresh rate of your screen so that you get zero tearing. And I imagine it's got low frame rate compensation. So VRR window will be from 40 FPS to 120.
Mm-hmm.
If it drops below that, you're in low frame rate compensation. But to your eye, to little Billy, he'll never see a screen tear.
Yeah.
You'll never see any change in fluidity. If you're currently playing at 100 FPS and then you go around the corner and the game's more demanding and it drops to 50, you won't notice that FPS has just dropped. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you weren't playing with variable refresh rate, you would see the game stuttering. You would feel that something was out of pace. Yeah. And G-Sync is next level. G-Sync really, because it's got an NVIDIA APU, that just makes it just mind-blowing. It's absolutely incredible.
The other bit that kind of blows my mind with with this stepping into PC handheld levels of spec.
Yeah.
NVIDIA's kind of mic drop, I think it was yesterday or the day before.
On the blog post. For us.
Yeah, for us. So for
right
you,
now.
a couple of days ago. About DLSS.
Yeah.
How's the Switch able to do this?
Yeah. It's got deep learning super sampling.
So it's just hardware-based AI machine learning.
Yeah.
The thing that really baffles me with this is that means that the future capability of this is huge. Digital Foundry, who I absolutely love for their real deep dives on stuff.
Yeah.
And they're doing frame readouts from the directs, and they're doing pixel counting and stuff. They're saying in the footage that they saw, there was no evidence of DLSS being used in any of it.
Yeah.
So none of the artifacting that you would come to expect.
Yeah, the telltale signs. Yeah.
So that means one of two things, really, that either the patented thing that Nintendo did with NVIDIA is so good that the artifacts are different or less noticeable, or it's just not being used yet.
Yeah. It definitely is being used. It must be.
For something so small to be able to output so well. Yeah, it must be being used.
In that same blog post, NVIDIA confirmed that it is 10 times more powerful than the original Switch.
So Switch 2 is 10 times more powerful. I'm sorry, how much was it again? Oh, £395.
Yeah. Oh, what, £70 more than the Switch OLED?
Which is using 10-year-old hardware.
But it's overpriced.
See, that's the bit of the conversation that's just not being talked about enough.
What? It has ray tracing cores in it. This is a Nintendo.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's got ray tracing. That NVIDIA blog post confirmed 10 times 10x performance.
Yes.
DLSS.
Yes.
Which I really can't wait for like Digital Foundry to find out which DLSS. I bet you it's got like DLSS 4 that the 5090 has, you know. So then it said so many ray tracing cores. So we will see ray tracing in games on a Nintendo Switch.
Wow.
Like, it's insane.
That's insane.
Plus the fact that they mentioned G-Sync,
the
VRR G-Sync, you know, HDR and all that stuff on the display. They listed everything that right there. NVIDIA just straight up when they have that. And all of that. And yet people can't get over the price.
This is the bit that makes me a bit sad, is that because all of the rhetoric and the reaction is just about price.
Yeah.
Just price. And people repeating the misinformation, which is why I wanted to start this discussion with
absolutely,
that. Because that's the rhetoric and the discourse that's being used, there is no oxygen for everyone to take a step back and go, but can we celebrate
what's happened?
What's just happened? What Nintendo have done with this? Because it is a generational moment.
I think because we straddle the PC space and we have appreciation and understanding of specs, that we like specs. I can't help being
I love specs.
I can't help it. But you think Nintendo, you think the average consumer of Nintendo, I think little Billy, you know, parents and stuff that have no idea what a CPU is or an APU is, or, you know, what freaking memory frequency, you know.
Why VRR would matter.
What even is VRR? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these people, and it's nothing against them, it's just not in their world, you know, they don't understand. So to them, they see £400, they go, nah. But they don't appreciate what's here. Like, if you look at Ferrari, I don't look at that and go, 200,000.
Do you think there would be value for Nintendo? You know, they do their direct, and it's very, like, consumer friendly.
Yeah.
They didn't, even to the point of, they didn't talk about the monitor, the panel being 120 hertz. They just said 120 FPS.
Yeah.
Because they knew that that's the language most people would understand.
They didn't say VRR.
Didn't say anything.
They said HDR, which I think is quite a specky thing, you know.
Do you think there would be value for Nintendo? Because you have their direct, they then do their Treehouse, which is like the real deep dive in the game.
And then a sucking eggs video.
No, I mean the other end.
Oh, okay.
Like deep dive.
Oh, okay.
Technical deep dive.
Get Mark Cerny in.
Choppy, 30 frame rates of choppy. Do you think it's very un-Nintendo? I know.
Yeah.
But we're in different times.
Yeah. Okay. So,
do you think there would be value for Nintendo just to go like
side, yeah,
and get the?
I'd love to see that.
Like proper, and so they can really like justify.
Get the NVIDIA guys in with them.
Yeah.
Deep dive into the performance and how it's achieved.
Like we've seen PlayStation do.
But again, it would only be us that watched it.
Yeah.
Little Billy and his mum won't care.
It doesn't matter to them, does it? It's not important.
Exactly. So they just see the price and go, no.
Yeah.
Whereas I see this and go, holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know?
How big a moment this is, and I think that's the bit that makes me sad. It's being lost in a conversation of people being upset about $90 games that isn't true.
The other thing that I saw people being upset about was the fact that it's using upscaling.
Yes.
It's not raster performance. What? What?
So, absolutely that. I talked about, in the reaction video I talked about my excitement for it being able to output 4K 60 when docked. And we're going to see the best Nintendo IPs at 4K 60 and maybe some third parties playing at 4K 60 as well. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And comments coming in of like, yes, but if you think that that's the raw raster performance, you're mad. It's never going to put out 4K 60. It's upscaled. Like, right, okay.
What?
I want you in internet land to find me a gaming device right now that's available to consumers that consistently outputs 4K 60 raw rastering.
Okay. Yeah. So the only thing will be a $1,500 PC.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. PS4?
No.
Sorry, PS5?
No, definitely not PS4.
PS5? No.
But PS5 can do 8K.
No, oh, yeah, that's it. 8K 120. PS5? No. PS5 Pro? No. Xbox Series X? Oh, no. So where does that leave you?
What consumer
PC?
Gaming device can do it?
They can't.
No.
They rely on upscaling. PS5 Pro, so you've got FSR, which is really bad software upscaling, you know, really, when you look at it objectively. Then you've got PISA, which is like a poor man's version of FSR.
Well, and they've said it doesn't work, so they're working again on FSR.
Yeah, hardware acceleration. So they're basically trying to pinch FSR 4 and cram that on top of PISA because FSR 4 is better. And then then you're into NVIDIA land,
Yeah.
which is DLSS. And like it or lump it, DLSS is the best upscaler.
Yeah.
FSR 4 is incredible, but it's brand new off the bat. NVIDIA are the forefronts of upscaling.
Yeah.
They absolutely are. And every console is looking at upscaling. Same with all these handhelds. The only way you can get playable frame rates really is to utilize upscaling or frame gen.
Frame gen.
And the thing that I find hilarious here is everyone loves frame gen. I hate it. It's disgusting.
No talk of frame gen in any of this.
It will just be upscaling.
Yes.
Because Nintendo would have watched that and gone, oh,
Yeah.
what is that? That is horrendous.
Why are the stairs changing shape as you move?
They would be like, burn it. Like, what is that?
And the inherent flaw with frame gen, we did a whole episode on I hate frame gen.
Yeah.
The inherent flaw is you need a really consistently high base frame rate.
For it to even be passable. Absolutely.
Because if your frame rate drops below like 40, it's going to feel choppy, as Mark Cerny would say.
It's going to be awful.
It's going to feel like 30 FPS because it is.
Yes. So frame gen sucks, even though everyone loves it. For some reason, it sucks. I'd much rather play without it any day. I turn it off. So for this weird flip side of people hating on the Switch 2 now because it's not natively rendering at 4K 60. And can I also say, I know this kind of pisses me off.
I love it. Go on, Andy, get the soapbox out. Get angry.
No, but we've seen, let's take DLSS, right? That on performance mode, DLSS at 1080p being upscaled to 4K can look better than native.
Yes.
So 1080p image looks better than a rastered 4K native image. The same can be said for FSR 4. So AMD's the weaker variant of it, right? So the equivalent of DLSS, like 3.5, let's call it that, right? That's also looks better than native. So why wouldn't you accept a Nintendo Switch, which is a tiny little handheld that you're expecting now
made
to
for
run
the consumer market?
Yeah, which I never expected to go above 1080p.
No chance. No.
Now hits 4K 60, which we've seen gameplay of, and it looks phenomenally stable.
Yes.
And you're now upset because it's not doing it natively.
It feels like constantly moving the goalposts.
Yeah. People just aren't happy.
Just people.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of the negative discourse is people that would never buy it anyway.
Yeah.
Wanting a justification as to why they wouldn't buy it.
Wouldn't buy it, yeah.
And they just want to be heard.
Then don't buy anything other than a 5090 if you want to try and run 4K.
Yeah, save up, buy it. You talk about, we've seen some games running at 4K 60, and that's the kind of final part of this that I want to gush about, is the games.
Oh, my days, yeah.
Now, I'll go back to another criticism that I saw.
Okay.
I kind of jumping around a little bit because
that's all right.
It jogs my memory.
Yeah.
One of the big criticisms I saw multiple times was not enough games day one for me to make me excited.
Wow.
And I was really baffled by that because, again, as I was watching the Direct, I couldn't believe how many games were coming day one.
There were so many games.
Yeah.
I was expecting there to be way less games.
I thought it was going to be really bad. I thought it was going to be their problem was there's going to be a Mario Kart, maybe a Donkey Kong or something, or like Kirby, like one of their kind of lesser IPs.
Yeah.
And
that'll be it.
And then there's just going to be like a bit like we saw with PS5. I thought it was going to be a PS5 problem.
Yeah.
I still think we're under 20 PS5 games. I'm not sure if we've broken the 20 mark yet. PS5 exclusives, that is.
That's. I know we're jumping around again, but we're talking about games, right? That was one thing that made me so happy. They immediately showed Mario Kart World. Yeah. And they said, only on Nintendo Switch 2. And that was like a big FU to the PS4.
It was huge.
Because I still hate the fact that there ain't no PS5 exclusives.
Yeah. Totally.
I know there's a few, but very,
Xbox
very rare.
Let's be fair. Xbox is just as guilty as cross-gen.
Xbox, in my mind, is just like
an
entity. Now. Yeah, it's like a hive mind. Doesn't matter what you're playing.
I think that's what they want it to be.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But the fact that they were like, this is only on Switch 2, I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And there was numerous of those.
Yeah.
Day one releases, there was dozens. I think the count, I saw someone count it up. I'm sure it was like 25.
Wow.
Granted, I will accept the criticism that a lot of those are from third-party developers, but that's what we all wanted to happen.
Yes.
Nintendo listened. They opened the doors. We all wanted way more third parties on there.
Yes.
We wanted this console to be capable of playing the games we love that are like the big boy games that aren't just the the Nintendo games of old.
On Switch 1,
Yeah.
I would purposefully buy games I already owned on PC, again, on Switch, so I could play them handheld. This is before the rise of PC handhelds, right? So A, so I could play them on Switch, but B, so that I could support the third-party manufacturer to go, you know what? Let's make more games for the Switch.
Yeah.
So that it became more than just this kids thing, you know?
I didn't see any of the sales figures for things like Skyrim and
It'd be massive.
Doom on Switch.
It will be huge.
I'm sure it will be.
Be absolutely huge.
But they did suck. Like performance-wise, they were sucky.
Doom didn't. Doom's was pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
it's really good. But
I
then
just
Doom,
hear all the stuff about
Doom's
Skyrim.
notoriously runs really well, even on like the lowest hardware. Skyrim is choppy, as Mark Cerny would say. But it's on the Switch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can play it.
This was what we all wanted to see.
Yeah.
We wanted to see Nintendo opening the doors to third parties again and going back to being not just a family-friendly console, which is the kind of brush they got painted with.
Yeah.
I wanted to see them return to having like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of like we saw on the GameCube
Yeah.
era. And it's exactly what we got.
Yes.
I'm sure it's 20, 21, 25. I can't remember exactly. It's in the 20s.
Yes.
Day one launches on Switch 2. Mario Kart World's obviously the biggest one everyone's going to talk about.
Yeah.
And that is available day one. But there's some huge ones in there that are day one from third parties. And of course, there's also GameCube as well.
Yeah. GameCube, I was not expecting day one. And it's funny because as I was watching that, like just before it said, like, now we've got something to show you or whatever, I went, please be GameCube, because they were talking about Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
And I knew they were going to bring something up. And then, boom, there it goes. The cube comes in. And I was just like, yes. And I was half expecting it to say, available in like 6 months or in the future.
Yeah.
And it said, day one, Soul Calibur 2, Zelda Wind Waker, and of course, F-Zero GX.
Amazing.
Oh, man, I died. I couldn't believe it.
I was
day
texting
one.
you. I was like, Andy!
Day one with the release of the Switch. Like, yeah.
There's some awesome games coming. There's a Gravity Racer that looked like Wipeout, and I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, yes, that got shown in the...
Something Fusion. It got shown for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
Oh, like, I'm hunting that one out.
Yeah, I'm totally playing that.
Wipeout's some of my top 5 games of all time.
Yeah.
That's been forgotten about.
Yeah, and F-Zero's mine, which is basically
kind of the same thing.
Yeah, Gravity Racer.
But obviously, there's some huge ones that are coming. Metroid Prime, we don't have a date for that yet. That looks insanely good.
It's still got this year on it,
Yeah.
so hopefully before Christmas.
It looks close. They've shown so much. They showed so much of it at the Treehouse.
I can't wait for that.
And can we talk about that while we're on that game for a second? In the Treehouse, they were showing mouse mode on that game.
Seamless.
I thought mouse mode was going to be a horrible gimmick for like stupid family, like that controller demo game that they're releasing.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be that awful stuff, or the wheelchair one.
That looks good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that looks
You
good.
use the mice to control.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay. Yeah. I thought it was going to be that kind of gimmick.
Yeah.
Like the IR camera. No one's going to use it.
I thought you'd have to enable it in the settings on specific games.
But yeah, for those who didn't see the Treehouse, they were playing with the 2 Joy-Cons in their left and right hand, like set out of the console. And then he goes, I want to show you mouse mode. And he just flips over the right Joy-Con and lays it down, and instantly he's in mouse mode.
Mm-hmm.
So then he can aim and shoot with that. And then instantly, as soon as he takes it off the table and rotates it, it's out of mouse mode again.
Yeah.
So you'll get instantaneous control input change.
Yeah. On the fly.
On the fly, in the fight.
Yeah.
Without any interruption, without even any pausing. I think that's such a Nintendo like innovation that they've not even really talked about. It's just like, oh, there's this as well.
Yeah, there's a mouse as well.
Oh well.
Cool.
But
yeah, it's great.
I just fully expected the mouse thing, but like you have to have controller input mode set to be mouse, and then not.
You know what's funny is you're going to have people playing Call of Duty better on Switch
Yes.
than you will on Xbox or PlayStation.
Because tabletop mode's going to be
Because they're going to have
amazing
mouse
now.
mode.
Yeah.
They'll actually have PC level of performance because everyone knows a mouse is more accurate than a
Yeah,
controller.
it's so much better.
So imagine mouse mode in COD because that's coming.
Yeah.
Complete
that's coming.
parity.
Yeah.
Xbox have already said.
the other third-party games we've seen how well they're running. There's zero reason why COD's not going to work now.
Especially if there's a performance mode where you can run it at like 1080p, 120 FPS.
It's going to be better than the Xbox.
And the PlayStation.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Star Wars Outlaws, which
Star Wars Outlaws.
PC handhelds struggle with.
It's a difficult game to run. It's got baked-in ray tracing. You can't turn it off.
I'll be really curious to see how that holds up handheld.
Yeah, same.
Because even on the Ally, it's a struggle to get to like 40 consistent 40s, isn't it?
Yeah. You've got to just put everything on low.
I would imagine it would sit around there.
Yeah, I reckon it would be comparable, but with the upscaling...
Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk.
Right, Cyberpunk... I still haven't played it because it melted everyone's computers.
Yeah,
I've still not jumped in.
I'm still waiting to play it
Maybe
myself.
now is the time I do it. I know it's not going to be the optimal way to play it because surely it's going to look better on a PS5 and a PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
With the convenience of it being handheld,
Yeah.
Elden Ring.
That blew my mind because Elden Ring was the first that they showed. And the second that camera started panning, it was like a millisecond.
Yeah.
I just said to you, no way.
No
I was
way.
like, Elden Ring, and then it went brrr, like Elden Ring. I was like, no way. Like, that is a really difficult game to run.
Yeah.
That is notorious for running under 60 FPS.
I just want to run you through my emotions of that. Really difficult to run. It's extremely dark in its both
like the
its
most
aesthetic.
adult game you
Exactly
could think of.
that. And for them to open up the third-party announcements with that, to me, was subtly showing that they've opened the door to this being a big boy console.
Yeah.
Have a look at what you can do now.
Yeah.
Elden Ring. You're like, you've grown up.
Yeah.
You've grown up.
Yeah.
You've still got the fun of the Switch, and you've got the bright colors, and you've got the Nintendo IPs, but now you've also got this.
Yeah.
And it can do it, and it can do it in your TV, and it can do it handheld. Welcome to the future of Nintendo.
Yeah, I love it. I'm all for that. I've never played Elden Ring, and it's going to be a toss-up now of do I buy it on PC and just like play it on the big screen, on my tower, or do I get it on Switch and see how it runs? Because it looks great, it looks great.
That's a difficult choice.
The problem is most people know my thoughts on, I can't even think of what they're called, Souls-like games.
Yes.
They frustrate me.
They're same. Yeah.
However, there was another from Software game that was teased.
Wasn't that the multiplayer one? What was it called?
I don't know if it was multiplayer, but the Dusk Bloods or whatever it's called.
I'm sure that's multiplayer.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't show anything about it in terms of...
Maybe I've seen stuff afterwards.
Maybe. Oh, I don't know this then.
For everything I've seen after, it was limited time Switch exclusive. But for now, it's a Switch exclusive.
Switch exclusive. That's a day one buy for me. Like when it started showing it, and it was funny because as soon as it came on, you messaged me like, Andy, I think they made this game for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm liking it so far.
Yeah.
And it's like set in London,
Dark
and you're a
vampire.
freaking vampire. From Software, like I was like, okay, I'm buying this day one. Yeah. And then when it said Switch exclusive, that's like Resident Evil 4 all over again on the GameCube.
Exactly that.
Like everything about this gives me GameCube vibes from when I was a kid, like when the GameCube came out and everything that made me hyped for that.
Yeah.
Even though as a kid, I was looking at Resident Evil 4 like,
Yeah.
I had the same vibes from this Direct.
I completely agree. It's
really
a very
did.
GameCube moment. They've really kind of stepped up and gone, do you know what? We can go toe to toe. We can have all the big boy adult games on here.
Well, and for the fact that they're releasing GameCube with it.
Yes.
It just feels right,
yeah.
And then stuff like we said, Elden Ring, the blood, whatever it is, Star Wars Outlaws, Cyberpunk, like all these massive games that are going to be able to be played on a Switch, on a Nintendo Switch. That's what I can't get over. And I think people are overlooking.
Yes.
Like I think people aren't appreciating what's happening here. Yes, we've got very powerful PC handhelds out there now.
Yeah.
And that is great. And that's maybe changed people's perceptions. But this is a freaking Nintendo.
This is cheaper than the Steam Deck.
This is cheaper than the Steam Deck. And it's outperforming the Steam Deck by miles.
I know we kind of touched on it in a different, I can't remember the order in which these go out, but we touched on it on a different episode. It really puts the Steam Deck in an interesting and tricky position. I fully believe post-Switch 2 Steam, if Valve don't have a Steam Deck 2 lined up, which I don't think they do, I think they have to drop the price of the Steam Deck.
They'll have to drop the
to
price
be lower than the Switch 2.
Yeah. And it's a different market at the end of the day, isn't it? Again, like the whole entirety of PC handhelds lumped together is like 6 million sales in 3 years. Steam Deck alone, 3 million.
Yeah.
The Switch will outsell the entire life of the Steam Deck in one day.
Yes, day one.
Day one, it will outsell its entire life. So people that are looking at a Switch are not looking at the Steam Deck. There'll be like 1%, if that.
Yeah, that's true.
If that'd be straddling both.
I'm that 1%.
Yeah, of course.
Because I know we've joked about it a lot, but I've been so on the edge of getting a Steam Deck forever, like going back in.
Now you don't have any reason to.
Well, I used the money to buy a Switch too.
Exactly, but that's what I mean. Like, any game that you might want to play will run better on the Switch too.
And I'll have multiplayer.
Yeah. And obviously, if you're a PC user and you want to play your games on the go, the Steam Deck's a no-brainer. Like, it's a no-brainer because you've already got the games. You don't pay.
I think if you've already got a Steam library, then absolutely Steam Deck is the choice out of the two. If you're coming into this fresh and you just want a really amazing handheld gaming experience and you've got like a £400 budget,
the Switch is the way to go. And there's so many people that have been console gamers that are looking at these PC handhelds but being put off because of the operating systems and, all this stuff. They can now look at Nintendo and not have any problems to deal with, and they'll get a better experience.
And they can play it on their TV.
They can play it on the TV and it will run in handheld mode. You can't run like Breath of the Wild 4K 60 on a Steam Deck. You can't do it.
No.
Even handheld, the Switch 2 will outperform because it's got DLSS. It's got machine learning, 10 times the power of Switch 1. Like, it's just not comparable anymore. It really isn't. Like, I saw tweets of people showing the Steam Deck and just saying, I'm just going to leave this here. It's like, I have big love for the Steam Deck. I love it. I love everything that it does. If you're playing games that are from 5 years ago or older, or if you're just a PC gamer and you want, that. But in terms of AAA gaming, no. Whereas the Switch 2 will AAA game now.
Yeah.
Like, people were saying in the comments, like, because we've got Final Fantasy 7 now on Switch 2, and people are like, have you tried playing that on Steam Deck?
Yeah.
Like, it struggles.
Cyberpunk?
Yes, Cyberpunk, all of that kind of stuff. It all struggles, like, real hard. I mean, even on the Ally X, it was struggling playing Rebirth. Like, to get above 30 FPS with decent settings so it didn't look like a potato mess. Like, it struggles. Switch 2 is going to perform better.
Just really exciting for the Switch 2 as well. That's not been talked about yet. That we talked about a lot. I thought we were going to see way more of it in this, in the third-party section, and there was none of it. It's the Microsoft games.
Yeah.
All of the Blizzard Activision library.
Yeah.
There was one, sorry.
Was that?
There was only one.
What was that?
Tony Hawk's.
Oh, yes.
Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Yeah, he was in the treehouse.
Looking scared.
Yeah. So Tony Hawk's,
That's coming.
4K 60.
4K 60, and it does look beautiful.
It looks amazing.
Actually looks like it's running at 4K 60 as well, which is insane.
What, raster?
Yeah, pure raster, raw performance. No, the exciting part is when all of the Microsoft games start coming, because obviously Microsoft Gaming have been very clear the Xbox exclusives are fair game for everyone now, and they're going to start pushing them everywhere. It's going to be very quick. We're going to see the Xbox games landing on Switch 2.
What if they just do a Game Pass app?
Do you think Nintendo would allow that?
Nah. They want to make money.
They do, don't they?
They want to make money. Because obviously every game sale that Xbox will sell through Nintendo will be taking a wedge.
Yeah.
Just like Steam would or anyone like that.
Yeah.
So they want that money.
Is Civ 7 one of their games?
I don't know who makes that. I feel like it might be.
Take-Two, isn't it, I think?
Right. Then no.
No, it's not. Just the huge amount that's going to be coming over from Xbox into the Nintendo library and going to be able to play it. We've talked about Call of Duty, one of the really obvious ones, but that is a massive draw.
Yeah, huge.
Massive draw.
So what about the PlayStation games that are coming to Switch? They showed that in the Switch Direct before the Switch 2. Patapon.
Yes, that's a PlayStation game,
which is a
it?
PlayStation game.
Yeah.
And also Everybody's Golf.
Yeah.
Which is also a PlayStation game.
I think the exclusivity's been lifted because it's a different company making it.
Right.
Different developer.
Okay, fine. Oh, I thought that was like a little hint.
With the golf game for certain.
Right, okay. But
Patapon.
Yeah. But those games, I was thinking, hang on a second.
It's weird,
Switch is going to win in a minute because we're going to have PlayStation games on it, going to have Xbox games on it, going to have Nintendo games on it.
I mean, technically, you got Final Fantasy
Yeah.
Remake,
Yeah.
which is technically a PlayStation game at the time.
Well, yeah, not anymore.
Not
'cause
anymore.
Square Enix are like, buy PlayStation.
I was expecting, because we saw there was another Square Enix game announced, one of the older RPGs. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, Bravely Default.
Yes.
Yes, that's a new title.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a new entry.
Oh, there you go. Yes, we saw that from Square. I was fully expecting to see Rebirth as well.
Yeah,
as well as Remake.
We will see that.
Yeah.
But they're going to do Remake first because it's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they'll bring Rebirth.
Rebirth looks beautiful, by the way, as well.
Mm.
The screenshots I've seen on the Switch 2 looks beautiful.
Oh, Remake. Yeah.
Remake.
Yeah, I can't believe that's running on a Switch 2 from what I've seen.
What Microsoft games we're going to likely to see?
Loads. Forza maybe.
Halo.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
What? I mean, it's fair game, isn't it?
Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the Indiana Jones can run on the Series S,
it
can 100% run on this.
I would dare say that the Switch 2 is more powerful than the Series S now.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's got to be. That's mad.
4K 60 output.
Yeah. But it's upscaled, so it's lying.
Oh, it's lying.
It's overpriced, remember?
Look, we could, as you could tell, we could gush about this extensively.
Yes.
Do you know what? More than anything else, I see myself as an enthusiast for games.
Yes.
So I'm enthusiastic when new things happen that are big.
Yeah.
Nintendo are the biggest of them all.
Yes.
So I'm enthusiastic to see this.
I'm enthusiastic because they've actually pulled their finger out.
Yeah.
They've actually given the gamers what they want. What I'm now more shocked at is the public reaction to it.
There was less vitriol against the PS5 Pro than there is against this.
I'm gobsmacked by how people have reacted.
Yeah. And the PS5 Pro offered a huge amount less, as in like a step up.
I can't understand.
This is honestly, I don't want to overstate it, but this is a generational moment in the console gaming. This is Nintendo shooting the starting pistol.
Yeah.
The others will overtake it when they release their next gen consoles. But this is Nintendo saying this is our starting point. And yes, you could say it's just that they've just caught up with everyone. Maybe that's a fair criticism to level. But either way you look at it, it's Nintendo doing what we all wanted them to do and more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for that, they're asking for £395 for the console.
£70 more than the Switch OLED.
£70 more than the Switch OLED.
For arguably 100 times better everything.
£395 is £15 more than the LCD Steam Deck.
Yes. Yeah. Crazy.
It does so much more.
Yeah.
Does so much more.
Crazy.
Yeah, so the criticism's crazy. The games, $90 games isn't a thing.
The prices are going to vary depending on game. And I think stuff like Cyberpunk and stuff will be a 70 launch type, 70 launch price.
Yeah.
Just like you would see on PlayStation.
Exactly that.
You know, like why does that matter if it's on a PlayStation or a Nintendo? Like what? But okay.
It's easy to criticize things. It's even easier to continue to spread or to pick up on stories that aren't true and believe they're true.
Yeah.
Because I'm guilty of it as well. I'll see a headline and just read that and not actually read the story.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to repeat that. But I would just ask you to take a chill pill and actually just assess. Firstly, are you a Nintendo customer? Because if you're not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Then.
But secondly, assess what they've done here and does that represent value to you?
Yes. Yeah.
Bear in mind, the last one lasted 8 years.
8 years, exactly, yeah. £400 for 8 years. That's a pretty good deal for me.
But Mario Kart's going to be £75.
Or it's 35 if you buy the bundle.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And also, if you have that for 8 years, that's pretty cheap, isn't it?
It's pretty crazy.
I would hate to think how many hundreds of hours I played Mario Kart for over the lifespan of the Switch. It's going to be in the hundreds.
It's crazy. And now, Nintendo Switch Online is actually worth the price.
Huge thing. There's too much to cover, but
there is.
Huge,
that's
really huge as well.
But we'll be covering absolutely everything. We're hands-on.
Hands-on.
This Friday.
Yes, that's going to be really exciting. We're going to do as much content as we can. I think we're probably, we're going to do a combination of things, but I think there's going to be a bunch of smaller bits that come out, just the screen and the controls.
We'll do our impressions on each individual bit, I think. Because otherwise it might get lost if we do one mega dump in one. I think, say the highlights, so easily digestible stuff. So next week will be lots of stuff to watch out for.
If you don't like the Switch, then
Yeah, then
come back in a couple of
Sorry.
weeks. We love you.
But, you know, I feel like big love to the Switch 1 for letting this happen. Because if the Switch 1 hadn't have sold 150 million units, because Nintendo were worried about it. They came off the back of the Wii U,
Which was a
which
failure.
was a failure. You know, so they went Wii, absolute sky high, wicked. Wii U, boom, like in the ground. And then they went cautiously to the Switch, which is why it was underpowered when it launched, because they didn't know if it was going to be good. And then all of a sudden, bring slingshotted to the roof.
And also, everyone's standing on the shoulders of each other. Like, this wouldn't have happened without the Switch.
Yeah.
But this also wouldn't have happened if the Steam Deck wasn't as successful as it was.
Yeah.
In a smaller marketplace.
Yeah.
But if the reaction to that wasn't so big, and the PC handhelds in general, if Nintendo obviously pay attention to that.
Oh, yeah, they would have seen
There's
that.
a pent-up demand here for handheld gaming, but at a high performance.
Yes, it needs to perform.
Yeah.
And that's where they paired up with old NVIDIA and
They smashed it
made
apart.
something insane.
I'm very excited to get it. Very excited to be hands-on next week.
Hyped.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm back in the 90s waiting to get my Game Boy Color.
I was watching the Direct, smiling ear to ear, and that's a really nice feeling.
My jaw was on the floor the whole way through.
And I think that's the bit that makes me sad. I just want everyone who's reacting negatively to share that feeling of like excitement. It's really nice.
The joy of gaming, which you should have, not like this, like you shouldn't be Cartmaning and like through life. Like if you don't like it, go away.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it. But
what are you doing?
Yeah, don't
go watch something else.
Don't pour water on someone else's excitement.
Yeah, because this is great. They haven't done something rubbish, and we're not just hyping up nothing. They've done something actually amazing here.
If it was rubbish, I'd be the first person to share all the logical reasons why.
Yes.
But
anyway,
just not. Yeah,
we're hyped. We're going to be deep diving on the Switch 2 for a long time now, the next 8 years. But we're still going to be looking at handheld gaming, in general.
We are just handheld gaming, and this is the biggest thing happening right now.
Yeah. I can't wait to get my hands on the Xbox Ally.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be really exciting.
I'm well hyped for that.
Yeah, loads more. Join in the conversation down below in the comments. Let us know what you think.
Yes.
Are you like hashtag £90 games? There's a rip-off because,
that's
you can
not
share
real.
that too. But don't use that. Just join in the conversation. The thumbs down button doesn't help anyone. It doesn't tell me what you're thinking.
Unless you click it twice.
Click it twice if you're going to click it at all.
Twice as nice.
Twice as nice. All those other things are down below as well. And what else should they do?
Become a member.
I thought you were going to go straight to the day.
I almost did.
Yeah.
But then you can talk to us, and we'll be away in London playing with the Switch 2, so we won't reply to you.
Playing with ourselves.
Yes, that too. But yeah, so you can chat to us over there and see these videos early sometimes. And also, have a nice day.
Such a good ending.
It's the catchphrase.
Bye.
Bye.